What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to show you guys how I set up my throttle linkage for my floor mount pedals in my S chassis. First thing that I'm doing right now, I am getting this set up. Well, first thing that you want to do is you want to get your pedals in. I used a bell crank from Willwood. They sell a cheaper one on Speedway Motors that I assume would work, but I've got the one from Willwood. Wish I had better light in here. But as you can see, you press the pedal down and it pulls this piece back here. It pulls that piece down. So that way you're actually, because if you that way this piece here is where you'll link your throttle to. My next thing was figuring out how to get from here to up there where the throttle cable comes in, because that's where it would be at, being on the factory pedal. I went and got a couple of these double threaded rods, but I've got a few of them here just in case, so I can make my rod length, whatever I want it, because I can trim these down. Got your connections. So that way it's simple. And then I'm going to use this piece to slide onto the bell crank. So first thing that I knew that I had to do was figure out how to get my throttle cable connected to this. So I've got two nuts, two washers, and then what I did was I cut off where the factory one was. I kind of flattened it out so I could get a drill bit on there, and I just drilled a hole through it. So that would originally sit like this. I mean, you imagine the all thread isn't there. And therefore, you take your throttle cable apart, clip it in there. Once it's clipped in there, then that'll move however you want it to. What I need to do is I need to go ahead and get the throttle cable put in and see exactly how much of this all thread I'm going to end up needing. Okay, so we're here. We've got tension. Okay, throttle cable's on, throttle cable's routed, throttle cable's set up back there, throttle cable's connected to the pedal, and we have wide open throttle at the throttle body. When you do this, you want to make sure to take a video or have somebody with you so you can check and make sure you're getting to wide open throttle, which I'll add a video of what mine look like, wide open throttle. And you kind of want to make sure you're set up pretty okay. I don't know how to put it other than, see how that's angled at the top. If that was to be angled at the bottom, it was catching right here. So the way mine's kind of twisted in there, it likes to sit at the top anyways. We're kind of angled over here. But anyway, once it's set up, you just make sure you have full range of motion. Pedal's nice and stiff how you want it. You're locked wherever you want to be locked at. That's full lock, full throttle. Can't go past that, and that's wide open throttle at the throttle body. Everything moves fine. You can see back here, it kind of gets pretty close, but everything moves good. Everything's tight. Everything's how I want it. So pedals are done. That's how you do the throttle cable linkage. I've seen people make their own bell cranks, but if you just look up bell crank online, you can find one for like $20. So you don't have to waste the time waste the time making it, waste your efforts making it. This one was $130 from Willwood, but it's the Willwood brand, and I would have got the one that was $25, but I didn't see it until I already bought the Willwood, and I didn't, want to wait to send it back and bring it back again. So, now those parts, that's a, I forget what it's called, but I got it from Farm and Home. Those rod ends and that little deal that slides over the bell crank, I got all that from Farm and Home or your local hardware store. You can get them at Ace too. And then, like I said, I cut for the factory deal for that. So there you have it. That's how I did it. It's the simplest way I found to do it without buying a brand new throttle cable. And if this ends up giving me issues down the road, I'll definitely probably swap it out if it gives me issues. If I don't have any issues, and that's what I'm just going to keep on running it. So there you have it. Peace.